Hello guys and welcome to another flight review. Today I am back on Ryanair, Europe's largest low-cost airline. The journey will take us from Brussels CRL to Sofia, Bulgaria. Now, when you count all of its subsidiaries, Ryanair operates over 600 aircraft and flies to more than 230 destinations. As such, they are an aviation juggernaut. Established in 1984, Ryanair is often seen as a pioneer of low-cost aviation. And for quite a while, they were the only large budget airline on the European continent. But times have changed and today the market is vast and diverse, with many different carriers competing for the same passengers on the same routes. So should you still fly Ryanair? Well, join me on this 2.5-hour journey as I try to find out. Bonjour and welcome to Brussels-South Charleroi, the second busiest airport in Belgium with over 10 million annual passengers. My flight today is FR4962, departing Brussels at 7:25 p.m. and arriving in Sofia 2 hours and 35 minutes later. CRL Airport is situated an hour south of Brussels, and getting here is a bit annoying because it isn't connected to the Belgian rail network. There is, however, a bus station right outside the terminal with direct connections to lots of places in Belgium, France, Germany, and Luxembourg. The main company offering those services is called Flipco, and they are not cheap. In this context, a one-way journey from Brussels to CRL Airport usually costs around 20 euros. So if you fly out of Charleroi, factor in the cost of getting here. Anyhow, I don't have any bags to drop, so let's head straight through security. If you fly Ryanair, be sure to check in online because they will charge you a whopping 55 euros if you want to check in at the airport. CRL is often overcrowded, but on this Thursday afternoon in February it wasn't too bad and security took about 15 minutes. I don't need to pass immigration because Bulgaria recently joined the Schengen zone. Now, Brussels-Charleroi is the definition of a low-cost airport. Apart from being very far away from the city that it actually serves, you won't find any legacy carriers here, only budget airlines. Ryanair is the undisputed king with over 50% of the total passenger share. This airport was in fact their first international base when it opened in the year 2000. The second main user of CRL is Wizz Air, and then you have a much smaller contingent of flights operated by Volotea, Air Corsica, Air Arabia, and finally Pegasus, which I recently covered. Apart from being overcrowded sometimes, this airport isn't actually that bad. Prices are high, but pretty standard compared to other airports in Western Europe. You have a pretty decent food court with a terrace that doubles as a smoking area. It was freezing cold, but the views up here are excellent for plane spotting. And finally, you get fast and reliable Wi-Fi. Now, I actually like Ryanair, and there are two main reasons why. Number one are of course the fares, but secondly, they have the most efficient boarding process in all of Europe. And today was another example of that. I had paid for priority boarding, so I was one of the first in line and everything was smooth. On this particular flight, Ryanair managed to get almost 190 passengers on board in less than 20 minutes. Our plane is a Boeing 737-800 delivered in 2016. Ryanair has 410 of those, making them the world's largest operator. This 737 has 189 seats in a 3+3 all-economy configuration. Rows 1 to 5 offer more space for an additional fee. I am sitting in 22F today and the legroom isn't great, but on par with other budget airlines. Ryanair's hard product is as Spartan as it gets. You have a small tray table and safety instructions printed on the seat. And that is it. No seat back pocket and literally nothing else to show you. The padding isn't the best, but it's okay for a few hours. And finally, to my delight, the cabin was much cleaner than what I experienced on previous Ryanair flights. Now Ryanair truly shines when it comes to their overall punctuality. They claim to be the most punctual airline in Europe, with over 90% of their flights arriving on time. And well, on this rainy Belgian evening, we departed bang on time at 7:25 p.m. Apologies for my not so great takeoff footage, which was the result of very foggy windows. Ryanair's in-flight experience is obviously pretty non-existent. They do have a new system though that allows you to order food directly from the app. This is supposed to speed up the service, but unfortunately it wasn't working on this flight. And yeah, this app doesn't have entertainment or maps, just a food menu and duty-free shopping. Prices have risen quite a bit since I last flew Ryanair in late 2023. In that review, I ate a delicious lasagna which was €7 and is now €8.50. But by and large, Ryanair onboard prices are okay. Not cheap, but in line with the competition. Talking about food, I was pretty hungry, but to my surprise, nothing was available. And I don't mean certain hot meals weren't available. This flight had literally nothing. No sandwiches and no lasagna. The only food you could buy were chips, peanuts and chocolate. I mean, who at Ryanair thought that this was a good idea? We were on a 2-hour plus evening flight and you couldn't buy any food. Seriously, where has the desire for profit gone? The loo was relatively clean, and the cabin crew were, I would say, classic Ryanair. Fast and professional, but not super friendly. The rest of the flight literally flew by, and we were soon approaching Bulgarian airspace. As you just heard, there was a school excursion on the plane and they were rather happy about the landing. I cared more about punctuality, which was once again top-notch. We arrived in the Bulgarian capital at 10:55 p.m, 5 minutes early. By the way, if you want to know what Sofia is like, I filmed a city tour here, which is already on the channel. I paid €41.24, add-ons included. And that is why I like Ryanair. I mean, where else can you find those fares? If I had traveled personal item only, this flight would have been cheaper than a bus journey from Brussels to CRL airport. And yeah, some other airlines like Wizz Air occasionally offer similar fares, but they are much harder to find. Of course, you need to be flexible with Ryanair fares as well, but this particular price was available on 7 days of the month. To sum it up, if you don't have to travel on specific days, Ryanair is simply unbeatable. They also have the cheapest add-on fees of any major European budget airline. So, should you stall fly them? Well, yes. The ticket prices and punctuality are fantastic. The rest isn't great, but the in-flight experience doesn't really matter that much on short European journeys, especially if you pay €50 or less. So yeah, 7 out of 10. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my low-cost aviation playlist, which has budget airline reviews from all over the world. Thanks very much for watching and see you next time. Goodbye.